Welcome to our webinar From Data to Dialogue, India's Caste Census 2023 and the Quest for Social Equality. I'm thrilled to be your host today, and we have got a fantastic lineup of panelists to dwell into this important topic. So let's get this conversation started. Before we dwell into this discussion, let me introduce myself. My name is Heman, Senior Research Associate at South Asia Research Institute for Minorities. SARIM is a non-profit organization dedicated to researching and advocating for the rights and well-being of minority communities in South Asia. Our mission is to promote social justice, equality, and inclusion development for all, with a particular focus on marginalized groups. We believe that an inclusive society is not just an ideal but a necessity. Through our research, advocacy, and collaborations, we work towards a brighter and more equitable future for all. Today's discussion will resolve around the importance of caste census and the value it holds and the benefits it can bring to India's quest for social equality. Here is a quick overview of our agenda. Understanding the caste census, we will begin by dwelling into into what the caste census is and why it is essential for India. We will also unpack the data. We will explore how data from the caste census can be an instrumental in identifying and addressing the social disparities, followed by the impact on policy and advocacy. Our panelists will discuss how this data can inform and transform policies and drive advocacy for marginalized communities. Also, last but not least, challenges and the way forward. We will also address the challenges and involved as India moves forward with the caste census in 2023. Now, let's turn our attention to the panel we have with us today. First up, we have a Shalin Maria Lawrence, hailing from the vibrant city of Chennai. She is a renowned writer, social activist, and columnist who is an international feminist and anti-caste activist from India. Shalin, we are delighted to have you here to share your insights on the critical subject. Next, we have the dynamic Mr. Leslin Martin, a prominent Dalit human rights activist from India. His tireless efforts in advocating for the rights of marginalized communities have made a significant impact. We are eager to hear your perspective, Mr. Martin. And last but certainly not least, we are joined by the Satya, the co-founder of the Center for the Social Equality and Inclusion. Satyendra also serves as a national convener for the National Youth Equity Forum. He has been instrumental in driving social equality initiatives in India, and we look forward for his contribution to today's discussion. You see, caste census is more than just a data collection exercise. It's a step towards understanding the complexities of our society, dismantling caste-based discrimination, and striving for true social equality. It's about giving a voice to those who have been long marginalized and oppressed. Starting with Ms. Shalin, what are your thoughts on the significance of caste census and how do you see it contributing to the quest of social justice or social equality in India or in South Asia? Over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Heman. It's a pleasure joining this forum today, and I'm really happy Zarin has always, taken topics which are very important and very intersectional. So right now, a caste census, I'm like, the only point which comes to my mind is what made Congress say it after so many years, because we know BJP has always been against it. So Congress also has, we know that Modi has been talking against the, caste census. He's been, going around Telangana and he's been going around, other places, Chhattisgarh, everywhere, and he's talking about how divisive it is. And it's an irony how the word divisive is coming from, Modi and BJP. So first of all, they are more divisive than any other party in this country. Caste census is not going to divide the country. The country has already been divided on caste lines. See, what they think is a community certificate is a divising force. That's what people think, right wing. They always say, oh, community certificate is divisive. Caste based reservation is divisive. And caste census is divisive. But caste is not divisive. Caste is a unifier for oppressive people. But any affirmative action or any, reparation which is done based on caste is actually, a very oppressive tool for them, according to them, which is an irony and which is laughable. So even Congress has not brought in caste-based census, but I am happy that in 2023 they had some kind of a sudden out of a blast, and they just want to go with the public thing, which is very good, because caste-based census is something which we wanted for a very long time. For example, I come from Tamil Nadu, which was the Madras presidency earlier, and the Dalit leaders from the Madras presidencies has always asked for caste-based census, and they worked along with the Britishers during the colonial period in the early 20th century on doing the caste-based reservation, be it 1911 or the 1931 census. They were closely working with them on the subcaste, the caste, because they know they're going to benefit from caste census. Because caste based census gives you the clear picture of the reforms needed, the how the planning should be done and things like that. For example, public planning in this country, public planning schemes, everything cannot be done like equally for everybody. As your topic suggests, we are all equal, but we're all not same. We all come from different social capital. We all come from different facets of oppression. We have gone through intersectional forms of oppression, which means that we are equal, but we are not the same. So our pain points are very different, and there are people who go through multiple layers of oppression, which means uh, taking a caste census will give you an appropriate picture of how the scheme should be customized for different sets of people, right? Which means it actually throws shade on systems like EWS. In the first place, who gets EWS? People with land, people with 8 lakh, salary per year. They get EWS, which they should not be getting. Reservation system was bought for people with low caste privilege, right? It is for redistribution. So these kind of things can be looked into when caste census is being done again. See, for example, there is also another thing which is, see, not just for public planning, but there's a lot of regrouping which happened after independence. A lot of castes, subcastes, they have regrouped into a lot of different names. For example, in Tamil Nadu, there are people who call themselves as Devas, and there is no Devar community. There's not a caste name at all. They belong to MBC, but they belong to a different caste, but they call themselves Devas, and there's a lot of confusion which is happening and political aligning which happens. And those things can be broken if caste census comes into place. But then again, there is a challenge also, because when you go and ask them what is your caste, they will actually not know their particular caste and subcaste. They will go ahead and say some name they have given themselves over the last 60, 70 years. So that is a challenge, but that is also a solution, because you have to figure out how thing. And then the population has grown. For example, in the last 55 years, the OBCs in Tamil Nadu have got they've started from 20%, now they're getting 50% reservation. But the SC/STs, they before 55 years, we got 16% reservation. Now we're getting 18%. For them, it's double fold increase. For us, it's just 2% increase. But we are, according to the last census, we were around 24%. Now we might have increased because our population has increased, and that did not include Dalit Christians and Muslims also. So our population is more now, and we need more reservation. So in order to correct what was done in 1931, we need to have the new reservation, because we need to find out what is the exact number, and according to the intersectional issues that Dalits face, they need more reservation according to their population and according to their social backwardness. So that is one thing. And then you have another thing, not just caste census doesn't mean they'll only go and ask about caste and subcaste. They'll also talk about how much of land a particular, community has, who possess how much of land. If you do that, then you will come to know that lot of Dalits are landless. But for example, in UP, the caste dynamics is different, right? In UP and the Hindi belt, a lot of upper caste will be landowners. But when you come to, Tamil Nadu, the caste dynamics is different. Here, the OBCs are possessing more land, and they are more feudal right now. And now they are, doing this caste politics. So we need to find out how much of land they have and how much of land Dalits don't have. Like Dalits don't have. So what is the measure that government can bring in to empower Dalits? So these kind of things, can be analyzed. The job, we talk about caste and poverty intersection, right? So when they talk about when Modi says poor people are the only caste. No, poor people they differ. How people, the Dalit Bahujans and Adivasis, how poor they are is very different. They are under the poverty levels. So these kind of, things like caste and the class, like how much of land they hold, how much of wealth they hold, what is their education, what is their, are they below poverty level? All these things will give a clear picture. So if next time if Congress is going to come to power or any other government, they'll have a clear picture on who to give more concentration, who you should empower, than talking about poor and not poor. It is not that equation. It is about being socially backward or under poverty levels. So all these things has to come. So I support a caste census because data is the playing thing right now. Data are the playing cards. Data is more important. And right now we are living in a modern age. We are living where we have, that time they used to have a paper, they used to take a census. Now it is not like that. There's been a lot of census being done, and right now they have, apps on phone where they enter the data, it goes to the server. It can, a lot of modern technologies has, emerged. So using modern technologies, the age of the internet, we used to have a robust caste census which will cater to a lot, which should cater to a lot of pain points and look at the intersections and give you a right picture of where India is heading when it comes to poverty, when it comes to social backwardness, and it comes to gender and all the other things. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Shalin, for highlighting the importance of caste census and supporting your arguments by providing the concrete instances. Now, heading towards Mr. Leslie, is a Dalit human rights activist who have been at the forefront for advocating for the rights of marginalized communities. I see. How do you perceive the caste census as a tool for achieving social justice, and what challenges do you think we might face in this endurance?
First of all, I see the process of Bihar caste-based survey, how it was done, and appreciate the process itself is now becoming decentralized. Now, the center holded the power so far. And now it has becoming now decentralized, where Bihar could manage it caste census, and that gives a kind of a process how it can go down to the hamlet level. The power of caste census has to go down to the hamlet level. That's how I see the picture. I see the process that coming in. And the value of the human, value of a dignified human or a human being is not just based upon caste. It's also based upon the economic and social factors that bind in India. So that bind him in her or he her. So that's where we have to look at from the process, that how this can be inclusive. It is now more becoming inclusive part of the process that I am seeing on the longer run. And now, when it comes to caste-based census in India or Andhra Pradesh or Telangana, and we had kind of like Shalin said, more number of OBCs or backward castes holding the land threshold over the land issue. So land and Dalits is quite important aspect when it comes to ownership of the resources. Ownership of the resources over the forests is the legitimate right of the tribals, and ownership resources of the fish, which is legitimate right of the fisherfolk community. So those and it also linked with the environmental rights. So caste-based census gives a kind of a perspective of who owns what, where the resources are lying, where the resources are utilized, how budgets can be planned in inclusive manner. So these are the kind of opportunities that we can gather from this caste-based census. But however, the socioeconomic status of the Bihar caste census has not come in yet. That's one point that where we have to carefully observe when it is going to be bringing. They have said they will bring it in the winter session of the assembly, but now we have to wait for the what are the kind of socioeconomic conditions that the caste has structured into. How caste has become quite a point of view of holding over the resources. Now, when we see the economic status of the most backward economic people in Bihar, they are almost all 27%, and the backward caste also is equally up to that. So the most of the people who are into in this region of economic region of caste comes into is the backward caste and economically backward, more economically backward caste. So that is the perspective now how they will take it up, the issue of implementing the economic reforms or the social reforms that has to come play in. So that is going to be very interesting challenge that we'll be facing as an India, because how this can become an Indian point of view, because we did not had a caste census for maybe 13 years. And we had caste census only based upon 2010 data we are analyzing. And now take it to the power when it comes to the hamlet level. Then the economic or social factors will bring in much more clarity, much more reality. What is the reality of India? What is the reality of South Asia is also can be seen once the hamlet level survey comes down, because that brings in the diverse aspects of how the population is being, what is the role of the population, how the population being utilized for electoral politics. So that will be a challenge that I see from the Bihar, welcoming the Bihar-based, caste-based survey, and looking forward to more of how it can reach the hamlet level, where different diverse groups are there, and at village level, hamlet level and village level. I'm talking about hamlet level very clearly, and village level very clear, because a village consists of lot of hamlets. So it may consist of 10-12 hamlets, or it may consist of 5 to 6 hamlets. So, and the village dynamics are dependent upon these hamlets, how the people are drawn up to the village level body, that is local body. So that to Panchayat Raj extent, it should come. The census should start happening now. And now I see that with this process, we can start having our own census by the model that which is coming from top. So we can also have a hamlet level survey where it can be legitimized by the legal process. So this kind of thoughts I have, and I'm hoping that this it comes to the decision comes to the panchayat level and at local body level, where the way the programs are very, very crucial. The economic welfare programs are very, very crucial. And the caste dynamics at the local level are very, very crucial. And if a person, Dalit person gets atrocity, faces atrocity, the person has to reflect upon filing a case itself. Now it is taking time to file a case itself. And of course, the police are moving very, very, very actively. But even after those active filing of the cases, the person has to roam, think of the different caste dynamics, different players that come into the picture in terms of helping him in addressing the issue or bring in social justice to the issue. So this social justice question and people question is quite important, and economic equality is also quite important. Now, now the topic is on equity. Thanks for bringing in that equity and inclusion issue here, because without gender equity, without different sexual orientation people equity, the discussion has to start from there. How we can bring in the gender equity issue and into the caste census. So that that is the kind of line that the perspectives that which we should have, and we should enable it to happen across the world. Thank you, Himadas.
Thank you very much, Mr. Leslie, for emphasizing the value of this census reservation, caste census and reservation issues to marginalized communities, and also giving us some insights into the Bihar census. And now we have Satyendra is a co-founder of the Center of Social Equity and Inclusion. He has been actively involved in promoting social equality. He has also shared some light on the how organizations like CSEI are working to translate this data into meaningful dialogue and action for social change.
Hello everyone, Jai Bhim to all. First of all, I would like to thank South Asian Research Institute for Minorities for organizing this important webinar to discuss on an aspect which is widely discussed in the country today, and the topic Data to Dialogues Caste Survey 2023 Quest for Social Equity is rightly placed to discuss different aspects of different communities at this point of time in the country. I think the country like India, which is much more diverse, and we know and we study and we know that how our society, our communities are affected by caste, class, gender, religion, ethnicity, and different kind of marginalization, which we keep studying and discussing. But the survey 2023 or any kind of such survey which actually opens up the reality in terms of the socioeconomic conditions and representation of different communities in different aspects of development is always interesting to understand and to know what kind of marginalization are we talking about. I'll be talking about two aspects of this survey which we need to discuss among ourselves and try to make sense of this survey and future course of participation of the community. One aspect which I want to bring it here, and also that with an example, that recently I was doing a kind of a data analysis within the scheduled caste Dalit community in Bihar. I belong to Bihar, and the survey is also taking place in Bihar. So I was just trying to see the data between data of scheduled caste and different subcaste within scheduled caste, that what is the education level of different caste. And I was, and not surprising, that 50% of the subcaste within Dalit community, their education level was much below than the state average and the country average, which was around 40% of 40% education within 50% of subcaste from the below. And which opens up the mind that if you're talking about 70% education, 75% education in the country, they are almost halfway behind the education percentage. And similarly, this time the caste survey in Bihar has opened up this debate once again. And once again, when I say, because it's not that we have not discussed it earlier. So Kalekar report or Mandal Commission report or Sachar committee report, which has clearly shown the level of marginalization among Dalit, Adivasis, Muslims, OBCs, nomadic tribe. These are all data we have been talking about, and it's available. But this time what has happened is that this particular caste survey has opened up another level of debate and discussion, that within OBCs also, within marginalized subcaste Dalits also, and OBCs and different subcaste, there are certain communities which are still needs to be focused, and the affirmative action policies and programs related to that needs to go to them. Now, this particular understanding and debate, that who all has been able to get benefits of post independence India is under discussion now also, which is like making the social justice more deeper this time. And earlier we have, like, the representation was an issue for even for any marginalized community, but now this particular caste survey is opening up another layer of debate, which says that, okay, let's, within social justice politics, we need to focus on the most marginalized. And for example, like if you see the data, we say that, okay, OBC politics and OBC population in Bihar is 27%, but then the EBC, which is extremely backward communities, caste within the OBCs, are 36%, which is like a very big population, and their representation and their development indicators are way below than OBC also. Similarly for SC, different subcaste, if you see their level of education, representations, their development indicators are very low. So this is an exercise which is going to deepen the social justice politics in the country, and and take the affirmative action policies kind of a review to see how do we deepen the affirmative action policies in the country. So that is one level of new discussion which we need to put in, and it will also encourage, and it will bring up a political consciousness among the most marginalized communities and subcaste within the country. Why it's important also is that because every time you try to bring the social justice discussion in the from the development lens and from the affirmative action policy lens or targeted schemes lens, it leads to kind of a discussion among the communities which actually empower the most marginalized community, and the most marginalized community and most excluded communities start asking for their representation and share in the development. And once they start doing it, their representation, the community people from the community emerges into the discussion and into the political discourse and social discourse of the country, and which leads to a lot of community members coming out and talking about their share. So in that sense, it is a very important time, and this survey will help us to deepen the democracy more and more in the country. One more aspect which I want to bring it here was that it will not, though the survey has started from one of the state in the country, but it has a national implication. It means wherever OBC, SC, ST, and EBC population are higher in the country, this particular survey will give a voice to those communities in different states, and they will also start asking for knowing their status, socioeconomic and political representation status, and which will also create a debate in other states, and which has already started doing it. Right? It started already happening in the country, and all the political parties and all the agencies and everybody is forced to look into the data and see how the marginalization is affecting the last person. So it has a national implications, and it will kind of initiate a second phase of social justice politics in the country, where the left out subgroups, subcastes, and communities and different class will emerge to start asking for deepening the democracy and making the development more and more inclusive. Thank you very much. I'll be happy to listen to all of you and other speakers who are going to talk about this. And thank you very much, South Asian Research Institute for Minorities, for reaching out to me and engaging with this in this interesting discussion. Hope to continue this collaboration. Thank you very much.
As he said, we will continue discussions like this. We thank Satyendra for his recorded message, as we have also heard how he highlighted and outlined the numerous benefits of caste census. Moving ahead, now I would like to invite Rimsha Shahid, a senior research analyst at SARIM, to deliver the concluding remark for this webinar. Over to you, Rimsha.
Thank you so much, Heman, for inviting me. I hope I'm clearly audible to everyone. Yeah, as we bring this enlightening webinar, which is from Data to Dialogue, India's Caste Census 2023 and the Quest for Social Equity to a close, we reflect upon the significant findings of the Bihar Caste Census Population report released on 2nd October 2023. The effort clearly aimed to analyze and understand the intricate fabric of Bihar's society, and the results are both enlightening and thought-provoking as well. The census report, with its comprehensive insights, paints a clear picture of Bihar's demographics. With a population exceeding 13 crore almost, Bihar stands as India's largest and most densely populated state. The census revealed a landscape where 27.1% of the population belongs to the underprivileged classes, and 36% to the very underprivileged classes, also known as extremely backward classes, EBC, 19.7% to scheduled caste, and 1.7% to scheduled tribes. In contrast, the higher caste comprise 15.5% of the population. These statistics provide the country with invaluable data to foster a more inclusive and equitable society by planning such policies and development programs to equally distribute resources among different segments of the society. The release of this caste-based census report is a momentous occasion, representing a significant step forward in the collective journey towards social equity and inclusivity, a journey we all are walking through and struggling. As our first speaker, Shalin Maria Lawrence, highlighted the critical importance of conducting a caste census, which has been neglected by authorities and obviously influential parties who label it as a divisive strategy. Shalin emphasized that caste census is of crucial significance because it provides a clear understanding of policies and public planning, facilitating the equitable allocation of resources and their customization to meet the specific needs of various segments within the society. She also underscored that since independence, considerable social, economic, and political regrouping has occurred, resulting in the emergence of unnecessary and confusing groupings within society. She argued that the caste census can play a pivotal role in eliminating these confusions and effectively addressing intersectional issues through the proper allocation and distribution of resources and reservations based on population data. Moving ahead, our credible contributor, Leslin brilliantly shed light on the far-reaching impact of a caste census, reaching down to even the smallest hamlets of the society. Mr. Martin stressed that the concept and value of dignified human is not only based upon caste, should not only based upon caste, but also on social and political inclusivity. He argued that a caste census holds the key to guaranteeing this inclusivity within society. The census can shed light on the equitable distribution of resources, as he seconded the opinion and perspective of Shalin Maria Lawrence presented in her speech, leading to a right-based ownership structure that reveals who possesses what. Who owns what, basically. By revealing this information, the census can serve as a foundational tool for effective budget and policy planning. He also discussed the intricate connection between caste systems and socioeconomic conditions in India, and also pointed out that a caste census has the potential to uplift the socio-economic status of marginalized populations, contributing to a more equitable society. Moving ahead towards our last speaker, the views provided by Satyendra Kr Satya emphasize the findings of a recent caste survey in India, which explored or revealed significant disparities in education levels among different castes. Notably, around 50% of the scheduled caste, also known as Dalits, had education levels well below the state and national averages, which is obviously quite drastic, underscoring the educational gap faced by marginalized communities. The survey also shed light on the presence of marginalized subcaste within the OBC, emphasizing the need for targeted affirmative action policies and programs. He extended his discussion to assessing the impact of post-independence policies, deepening the discussion on social justice by focusing on the most marginalized groups. Overall, Mr. Satya emphasized the importance of deepening social justice, fostering political consciousness among marginalized communities, strengthening democracy, and extending the survey's national implication. Marking a new phase in social justice politics, which is often overlooked. Communities aim to provide more inclusive development and representation. So as we conclude this webinar, we urge all stakeholders, policymakers, and civil society to engage in constructive dialogues and take informed actions that can help address the challenges and inequities revealed by this census. Let us work together to build a more just and inclusive society, a community where every individual, regardless of their background, has the opportunity to thrive. Thank you all our distinguished speakers for their invaluable contribution to this discussion. Your commitment to a more equitable and harmonious society is inspiring. We look forward to continuing this dialogue and turning the insights gained from this census or this discussion into meaningful change. Thank you everyone again, and goodbye. Have a good day. Over to you, Heman.
Thank you very much, Rimsha, for those concluding remarks. I mean, your word reminds us that the quest for social equality is an ongoing journey that requires collaboration, dedication, and such discussions. Thank you for all sharing your valuable insights. As we can see, the caste census is a vital step in the quest for social equality. As Shalin quoted, census is just not about the numbers, but it's a socio-economic census. It's about the lives, experiences, and aspirations of millions of people, not just India, but beyond. It's about the breaking the barriers that we have divided our society for generations. We are immensely grateful to our speakers, Ms. Shalin Maria Lawrence, Mr. Leslie Martin, and Mr. Satyendra have provided us with a compelling starting point for our discussion, and we will continue exploring such topics in greater depth in future. Thank you. Goodbye and take care.